You guys ready?
Yes.
Okay, Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah, you guys did better than the adults last night, and we even gave them samosas to eat. So, my name is Eesaa Wood, and I've been asked to come give you some words of encouragement. So,
I speak Kurdish.
Encouragement. But that's cool that you can speak Kurdish. I respect that. So you guys try to hold your questions or comments till the end, okay? That way I can stay on track. In this world, we have something called truth. Okay? Truth means that something is absolutely a fact. If I go outside right now and I point up at the sun and I tell you it's nighttime, you're going to look at me like I'm crazy, right? Why?
Because it's not nighttime.
It's not nighttime. How do we know that it's not nighttime?
Because the sun is up. Since the sun is up, the moon's not out. Well, the moon is still out and the sun's still out when it's nighttime, but the moon's not shining right now.
You were good in the beginning. So we know the sun's up, it can't be nighttime. What do we have as Muslims that we know is absolutely 100% true? Yes. Sorry?
We have the Quran.
Yes! Excellent! You get 100 points, my friend. The Quran will never, ever, ever, ever steer you wrong, brothers and sisters in Islam. There is nothing in the Quran that will ever hurt you. Nothing in the Quran that is not true. The Quran is the light through which the Muslim looks at the world and is able to discern the difference between truth and lies. Now, there's a very beautiful story in the Quran. You guys like stories?
Yes.
Sisters, do you like stories?
I have a story. I have
Okay.
to the feast.
Our religion is the final message that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God exalted be He, sent to human beings. However, we do not have the only truth, because Allah sent before us Sayyidina Eesaa, alayhi salam, and Musa, but particularly one person the Quran mentions often, our father Ibrahim, alayhi salam. Now, Ibrahim was born into a society in a town or a city full of people who used to worship idols. Statues. Pictures. You name it, anything other than Allah, they were worshiping it. And particularly, his dad used to make these things. Okay? He used to make idols. Now, one day, all of his people, they used to go to this building in their city where all of the idols were located, and that's where they kept them. But they decided to leave them one day because they wanted to go outside the city and celebrate a pagan festival. And they invited Ibrahim, who was a young man. He was a young man, like some of you. They said, "Come with us, Ibrahim." Ibrahim said, "You know what? What you guys do makes me sick." So what they heard is Ibrahim's sick, so we're going to let him stay home. But what he meant by that is what you guys are doing, worshiping idols and having these pagan festivals, like I can't stomach it. It makes me sick. It's not true. So Ibrahim, he wanted to help his people understand that what they were doing was not true. It was a lie. To worship a statue, to worship a picture, to worship anything other than Allah is just not true. It's just not true. How do we know? Because number one, you made the thing with your own hands. That makes you better than it, at least. That thing can't benefit you and it can't harm you. It can't speak. It can't give you guidance. It's just a rock. It's just a picture.
It can't even kill you.
So, Ibrahim, he thought really hard about it and he said, you know what? While they're all gone, I'm going to go into the temple where they keep all the idols. I'm going to take a hammer and I'm going to shatter every single one of the idols. Except for the biggest one. The biggest idol in the building, I'm going to put the hammer in his hand So when all the people came back from their festival and they went back to their temple to worship the idols, they walk in the building and they see a bunch of broken statues and torn up pictures and everything is destroyed. And of course, Ibrahim was the only one they left behind, so they came to him and they said, Ibrahim, what happened? What did Ibrahim do? Because remember, he had thought deeply about this. He pointed to the biggest idol in the room that had not been destroyed, and he said, well, that's the one that did it. And his people, they were forced to think. They said, hold on a second, Ibrahim. That's just a statue. It can't break idols. And that's when Ibrahim gave them the da'wah, the invitation to the truth. He said, of course he can't. He's just a rock. So why are you worshiping him? He can't benefit. He can't harm. He can't speak. He can't do anything for you. It's just a rock that you have beautifully sculpted into something that looks like a human. And his people were shocked because for the first time in their life, they were presented with the truth and they had to make a decision. Are we going to accept this truth or are we going to reject it? Who knows what happened next?
They rejected it. So Abraham's people, they had this thing. They put him on it and they threw him in fire.
Yes, his people categorically, all together, they said, Ibrahim, you've broken our statues, we're going to punish you. So they rejected the truth. Even though Ibrahim did a very wonderful job presenting the truth to them, making them think. So they built a huge fire.
Okay, go get a drink.
That fire was so big that the Quran describes it like a tall building. And they said, throw Ibrahim in the fire. Now think about this. You're a young man, right? Ibrahim might have been like a teenager, 15, 16 years old. He has his whole life ahead of him. He could live to be 70, 80 years old. But now, because he tried to present the truth to his people rejected it, and now they're going to punish him just because he wanted to tell them the truth. They preferred to believe in lies. So they took Ibrahim, they put him high up in the air, and they pushed him off into the fire. And then Allah, the one and only true God, intervened. And he said, "Oh fire, be cool and easy for Ibrahim." And Ibrahim fell into the fire, and the fire did absolutely nothing to him. And the people were shocked. Because Ibrahim, the father of our religion and any other previous version, worshipped the only God that can benefit and harm. The only God that can speak to us. The only God that's real. Allah. And Allah controls everything in the universe, meaning that not even things like fire can harm us if Allah doesn't allow it to do so. And because of Ibrahim's faith in Allah, trusting in Allah, his tawakkul ala Allah, Allah honored Ibrahim by making him the imam of all of the nations of the world who worship the one true God. And that's why it doesn't matter what world religion there is. If they call upon the God of Abraham, they also honor Ibrahim. So, what do we learn from this story? Number one, Allah loves when a young person stands up for the truth. Meaning that when you come across something true in the Quran, and you recognize it as true, you stand up for it, even if that costs you everything. Even if you're threatened with the worst kinds of punishments. That you know that the real Creator who made you and made all the people who are threatening you, that's the only one that can benefit and the only one that can harm. So Allah loves a young person, a young man, a young woman who stands up for the truth. Number two, we learn that sometimes everybody around us is doing the wrong thing. even our own family. But that should never prevent us from following the truth. If we come across something in the Quran, we recognize it as true, we understand it is true, we do it. We implement it. We act upon it. Even if everyone around us is ignoring it. And everyone around us is doing the opposite. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the truth, the Quran, through which we can see the world as it is. Now, brothers and sisters in Islam, you are very young people, and you have a long life ahead of you, inshallah. And you will encounter, Allah will test you in this life by encountering falsehoods, lies, things that are not true. And He's going to test you as to whether or not you're going to use the Quran as the light through which you see through the darkness of this world. So, later on in life, when someone comes to you and they want you to do something you know that Islam says is wrong, the Quran says it's wrong, right? They want you to, for example, take money from someone that doesn't belong to you. In adult language, we say ripping someone off. لا تبخسوا الناس أشياءهم. Don't rip people off from their stuff. That's what the Quran says. You say to yourself, you know what? No, thank you. I'm not going to do that. Or, at some point in your life, some man or some woman comes along and he says, you know what? I know what the truth is, and your Quran doesn't have any truth. You need to follow me and what I think. You say, no. You're just another human like me. You don't get to decide what's true. You don't get to decide what's false. Only Allah knows. And Allah has already told me in His Quran what's true and what's false. Or you come along and someone says, you know what? If you'll just give up some of your Muslim stuff, your Muslim dress code, your Muslim prayer, your Muslim fasting, your Muslim masjid, your Muslim whatever, we'll love you. Right? We'll love you. We'll treat you good. We won't do anything to you to harm you. We'll honor you. You say, you know what? Allah gives honor, and human beings don't have the ability to do anything without His permission. So brothers and sisters in Islam, use the Quran as a light through which you see the world. Figure out what is truth and figure out what is falsehood, and then stand up for it. Because that's what our religion is meant to do. That's what the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that's our job. We are kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linnas. We're the best nation of people raised up for mankind because ta'muruna bil ma'ruf. We always stand up for the truth. Wa tanhawna 'anil munkar. And we always stand up against things that are lies, regardless of the consequences. وَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ. And we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and no other God. I hope you've gotten some benefit out of this short talk today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase all of us in knowledge. Allahumma rabbana zidna ilma. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and bless your families. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Allahumma salli wa sallam wa barak ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.